So nice to have you in. It's Thursday, 2 o'clock. Every Thursday, I call it the Charlene Gill Show, but professionally it's called at Home with Charlene. But anyway, Charlene Gill. She probably is the number one mortgage lady in Southern California. 21 years she's been doing this, and now we're doing a real estate fun show. Today is really fun because one of our favorite people, Stephanie's here. She's a regular now with us. Stephanie Stelnick. How are you, my dear?
I'm great, thank you, Coach.
Young
How are
mommy, attorney, very successful lady. And we're just talking about the second go-around. Everybody's getting this cold or flu. That's yucky.
But it's hitting people weeks and months. It's not a couple
for 3
days
weeks.
or and you're done. It's not leaving.
It's a virus.
It's been in my household for 4 months now. I got it New Year's Eve. My kids each got both strands of the A and B flu.
Do you give kids a flu shot?
I did not, because I've always been understanding. I give my kids every other vaccination except for the flu shot, strictly because the flu vaccine is proven against the last year's flu. So the virus is ever changing, so it changes to this year. So this year it only protected against 2% of flu B. So no matter what, if you got flu A, which is the outbreak that Santa Clarita had, the vaccine didn't even protect against flu A. So that's why it's so bad this year.
It's challenging because you're right. They anticipate from the Asian market what the flu is going to be in the United States, and you're right. I always get the flu shot. And I did get it. And anyway, never mind. We're going to talk about real estate. If you have questions, I think we'll waive the call-in fee. We'll think about it. And if you want to call in, maybe call in after the first break, maybe like 1:30, something like that. Every week we start the show. Hello, Charlene Gill. How are you?
Hello, Coach Ron Tunick.
So interest rate-wise, we always start, what's the interest rate this week?
I did a lot of research today because I have a lot of really great information that I'm going to bring to the show that I think everybody needs to hear. And, we're fluctuating from the low fours up to the high fours, just depending on what you're purchasing, what type of loan it is, condo, single-family residence, government, conventional. There's a few different ways of looking at it.
And
but
then 2 months ago,
we're
when we started talking about this, it was in the threes. Now it's in the fours. Don't wait. I'm just telling you, 304, 604, 304, 604, and the 805. Very interesting subject today about renting, and I want to get Stephanie involved in this conversation. You've done a lot of research on rental properties, right?
I did. I spent this morning doing some research on rents. We pulled up a bunch of different cities within Santa Clarita and came up with an average of what we determined the rent would be. It's a little shocking because I think they're probably going to increase from here too, as the inventory is short. But some of the information that I came up with was for a condo or a townhome, for just a 1 to 2 bedroom, your average rent is about $2,300.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. Is that for a 2-bedroom?
That's a 1 to 2 bedroom.
Really?
$2,300.
There was a report about 3 or 4 months ago. I don't know if you saw it, Stephanie. We are now compared almost to New York and San Francisco.
And that's scary.
Do renters have rights, attorney Stephanie Stelnick?
Renters do have rights. Renters have California law protects renters much more than they do landlords per se.
So how do you know, first of all, how many renters in your experience actually read the contract? None?
I would say a good...
None.
Let's say 5%.
Yeah, 5%. So back to this discussion of $2,300 a month.
But it's even worse than that because I looked at what a 3-bedroom condo or a townhome was going for, and the average was about $2,500.
Oh my goodness!
And there's more that are going for more than that. I just kind of looked at the different prices and came up with, $2,300 to $2,500. There's a reason why people can't maybe afford to rent like that. Definitely your starter out kids and millennials and, people just starting out in the world are, going to need to have a couple roommates to be able to pay that type of a fee with the jobs that they're just trying to get started.
Definitely.
But it was surprising because I think our rents are probably the highest they've been in some time. And that was just the condos. That wasn't even, we haven't even dabbled in and talked about the single family home and how much those are renting
We're going to get into that. Stephanie Snellick, our wonderful guest, she's a very successful attorney, counselor of law. We'll get into this, but, ask me what my first rent was on my apartment at 17950 Burbank Boulevard.
Do you even remember the address?
Every house I lived in, I can remember the address. I can remember phone numbers. I just can't remember names. Is it Charlene, right?
Yes. Yes. Good job.
So $128 a month.
See, I think my first rent was $800 or $900. Wow. I think is what
was
somewhere
yours?
around there.
I fortunately have never rented before. I've done the dorm room.
Straight into home ownership?
My husband and I, when we were still courting, and we were engaged. Like, my mother would not let me move in with him until I had a ring on my finger, which is, I get it.
Thanks,
She's
Mom.
from Ohio.
Thanks, Mom.
That's what they do.
Really? Oh, I love Ohio. I had an officer. What city in Ohio?
Toledo.
Oh, yeah.
So Toledo
I know Toledo.
wants you engaged before there's any type of
Yes. And he was
nesting.
Yes, and he was fortunate to have, his parents helped him out with the down payment so that we could move into a townhome. Mm-hmm. But even the mortgage at that point with all the fees was around $2,000 a month, and the rent at that time was probably the same, if not a little bit less, but we were deciding to invest in ourselves versus, and then we used that to buy our big home where, believe it or not, my mortgage and property taxes and insurance all in is cheaper than any of those rental amounts you gave. And I have a 4-bedroom home, single-family home in Valencia.
And you know what was interesting? I sat through an event. It was probably about 3 weeks ago, and it was a bridal show event. And I spoke to all of the new brides that were coming through and talked about how home ownership should go hand in hand with, you're getting married and starting your new life and whatnot. And out of all the couples and girls that came through and talked to, only 1 or 2 of them said that they had already had a purchase or had already had a property. That the rest of them were going to use their money on these expensive weddings.
Wow.
And I just thought, wow, that could be a down payment, for a future property.
I mean, FHA loans are 3.5% down.
Yeah.
Up to $638,000.
670. I can't remember off the top of my head, but the new guideline goes up to 675 or 679 loan
Right.
amount.
3.5% down. That's cheaper than any wedding. I know my wedding was more expensive than that down payment.
Yeah. So,
And if I would have been offered that, I would have used it for a down payment.
Well, you're a couple of smart cookies, but be honest. So if you, you were honest. So you would have taken the money that you'd spent on the wedding to buy your house
and done some like a little
and
party
I would have gotten
or
married at
something.
the Santa Barbara Courthouse, which is beautiful, and it's City Hall.
And had a nice dinner somewhere down there.
Yes.
What about you? Did you have a big fancy wedding?
I did have a wedding that was on a little boat in Newport, but everything was on the boat. Everything was there, and it really wasn't as expensive as you think. An
That's
actual
cool.
wedding would
So
be
you rented,
at a country
you rented
club.
a
Like a yacht type boat,
yeah,
and it
yeah.
had the DJ on there,
Oh,
it had
wow.
the bar on there, it had everything on there, cruised around the harbor. It was all in
what
one,
a cool
one
idea.
location, and not very many people do something
No.
like that.
That is a
No.
genius idea to go
Yes.
to bridal shows. Genius idea.
Yeah.
Because they're all going around looking for
You
different
should
vendors.
Go. You should go.
No, I'm not a family law attorney. I'm just kidding.
What kind of law do you do?
Real estate law.
Oh, that's why you're here with us.
So I could go to Charlene to sell the whole, get a mortgage, maybe not spend $100,000 on a wedding that you're never going to get back.
That's why you're here, and
Yeah.
you're part of our cast every Thursday at 2:00. Charlene Gill and Stephanie Snellick. I'm the host, Coach Ron Tuning. Well, I'm not really the host. I'm just here.
You're hosting with us.
I'm hosting.
You're the hype guy.
So the at this wedding, what do you call it, bridal show?
Yeah.
So are
Perhaps.
weddings still really popular and people having big weddings?
Well, what was interesting is a lot of people are doing fall weddings. When I was younger, everybody wanted the summer wedding.
June, girl.
Nobody. Everybody had September, October, November.
Was it cheaper?
I mean, maybe it is.
I got married on July 5th, so my husband would remember it's always the day after 4th of July.
See?
So, but I know,
maybe it
so
is.
my brother-in-law just got engaged, is already planning the next big, like, I mean, you have to understand, we also have bar mitzvahs, we're bat mitzvahs, so we're Jewish too, so it's like, it's a big thing. And, the crazy part is to relate to home and marriage, it goes hand in hand, because in the Jewish religion, everyone knows a chuppah. Like, when you go to a Jewish wedding, there's a thing that covers you. That symbolizes a house, because when you're getting married, you're supposed to be building a home. And that's why, I mean, for you to go to bridal shows is just ingenious, because that's the whole point, is you're creating something that lasts, not just the marriage certificate you get that day. You're building a foundation to have the babies, to have the children, to deal with the sickness every year, because you want a home base.
You're listening to the Stephanie Stelnick radio show here. Okay. Man, you got a nice little radio voice. You should be doing a show. We don't have any attorneys doing radio show. I don't know why.
Probably liability.
Yeah, they probably don't want to say the wrong thing.
No, but if you travel around the country, like my daughter's in San Francisco, and there's attorneys. Attorneys have shows all over the country.
I hear the commercials for attorneys.
All over the country. I mean, every the lawyers, Larry H. Parker, Burns, there's just every...
Sweet James. I don't know who he is, but I've heard of him.
KLAC. I listen to this sports show there.
I'm like, want to Google him. Who's Sweet James?
Yeah. You need a nickname, Stephanie. We need to come up. Stephanie Stelnick. What? We got to work on that. We got to work on that. This is Thursday. You're listening to 98.1 and 1220 AM on award-winning KHTS. You can listen on hometownstation.com, hometownstation.com, or download the. Have you downloaded the app yet?
I have downloaded the app.
Okay, it's a great app. Just go to the App Store and put in KHTS 1220 AM. All right, so we're talking about rental properties.
Yep.
We're talking about it is so expensive to rent. Ladies and gentlemen, listen. Just what Stephanie said. It makes more sense to buy, to own.
Well, I did a comparison between the rents for the condo and the townhomes being between $2,300 to $2,500. I did two scenarios that I wanted all the listeners. I mean, there's a lot of information. You don't have to write it down, but just listen to how I'm describing it.
No, write it down.
Yes, if you have the ability, write it down. But if not, you could, revert back to our show on our podcast. But for $2,500 in rent, right, for a condo or a townhome, you can do either a 5% down conventional loan with a total payment of about $2,441 and own the property.
You told me last week
with
5% down. You said
you could do an FHA with a 3.5% down, and you can have a payment of about $2,543. So I'm just trying to show that on a $350,000 purchase for a condo or a townhome with 5 to 3.5% down, just depending, you are going to have a payment that is similar to the rental payment you're currently paying.
And they do exist out here in Santa Clarita. I've been on the rental market looking for rentals for me to take advantage of rentals right now with the price. If they do exist right near the mall, right in Newhall, in Canyon Country. They are out here in Santa Clarita, guys. So it's a no-brainer. You need to call Charlene today to see if you can get pre-approved.
Cody could be your tenant if you're going to buy a rental property, Stephanie. It's time for him to move out.
But really, I mean, I was doing the numbers today, and I thought I really have to share that because people might not think that they can purchase. But don't think that you can't until somebody looks through your paperwork and says, you know what, here's your plan or here's where you need to be, because you can own something for the same price that you're paying in rent. That was what I wanted to stress was.
And this is a 30-year loan, so imagine this to be a 30-year 401k investment.
Absolutely.
And once you're done paying that 30-year loan, all you're responsible for is a percent for property taxes. California is one of the states with the lowest property taxes. That's a benefit for you all. So compare 1% of a $350,000 home. That's all you're paying a year versus the $2,500 a month for rent.
And if you think about it, let's just say you're renting and you're going to rent for the next 3 years versus purchasing for the next 3 years. Same payment, but over here on your purchase, you're gaining 6 to 8% equity a year.
Wow.
So you're looking at 18 to 24% in equity that you're not gaining over here by renting.
No.
So if somebody's on the fence about renting or purchasing, it's definitely in your best interest to purchase, even with a little bit higher interest rate. Even if rates go up a little bit more, it still behooves somebody to purchase versus to keep renting, plus the write-off. plus the interest write-off.
Right. I mean, look at your bank accounts. What % interest are you guys getting with
Yeah,
having
you
the money
don't.
in the bank?
Not
Listen
even a
to
percent.
these ladies. Stop. Don't take a nap today. Call Stephanie Snellnick or Charlene Gill. They'll get you into property. Here's the other missing ingredient, ladies. If you're a salaried employee, you don't have much write-off. So if you own, just what you said, if you own a home, right, you're going to get more money to take home from your paycheck because you can do more deductions.
Or
Am I right on this, attorney?
Well, that's an accountant question, but my understanding is the same.
Why can't
do
you
have-
get an accounting degree too? That would be cool.
Yeah, but think
I
about
would
this.
love that.
Even if you're 1099 and you need extra write-off, I mean, you have your mortgage interest as your write-off. I mean, I'm not a CPA to say how that affects everybody individually, but it makes a difference. If you have $18,000 in yearly interest you're writing off and you're making a substantial amount of 1099 income, that's an offset to that,
Right.
you know?
We're going to get a CPA on this show. We've got to get into the weeds on this thing. If you're listening and you're thinking about buying, don't wait because interest rates are going to go up. They are.
And I'm calculating these on kind of where we're at and where the market's been holding pattern. And I mean, we still have room. If the rates go up a little bit, you're still going to be in a better position by buying than you are renting. I mean, the data's been done. I mean, everyone's been doing.
So
doing
we
the
should
research.
give like a 10-step program as to how you can start buying a house.
Yeah, it's
Like
easy.
the first thing is get a candy jar and start putting your change in. Do you have one at
No,
home?
first thing is to call
No.
Charlene.
But think about it.
Excuse me. Number one, call Charlene Gill.
But think about it. You're getting your tax return money right now. You're doing
yeah.
your taxes. So
Some
if-
of you are getting tax return
yeah,
money.
and if you're getting tax return money, what a better way than to put that money aside with whatever else you've saved and invest in your financial future. It's a no-brainer.
Let me ask the lawyer a question, if I may.
Yes.
What's the difference, Stephanie Stelnick, between a condo and a townhome?
So I've been told, are you talking about legally speaking or for resale value? I've always heard the condos are better for resale value. Townhomes don't hold as much because you're in the middle between a condo and a single family home. And townhomes, you usually have 2 stories. Condos are only 1 single story. Both will have the HOAs that a lot of people don't like to deal with, but you're in Santa Clarita, and that's how we stay awesome town.
But one other thing is sometimes a townhome can be classified as a single family residence, or a condo might have a little bit of a condo hit depending on how much you're putting down. So you can have a little bit difference in your your interest rate, condo versus a townhome. So
Would
a
I
townhome-
notice the difference if I'm driving along on the road? Would I know the difference?
No, because some developers classified a lot of communities out here as condos because it's cheaper. Some of your older ones might be a townhome. I think there was different building restrictions when they were doing that, but I think you could build more, you could build closer, and it was cheaper to label a lot of them as condo.
Right,
So
some
I
of
think
the
that's
homes,
why we see it.
you think they're single family homes, they're actually distinguished and detailed as condos out here.
Right,
And
detached.
they're detached condos, but they're attached with like the backyard, and they're still considered condos.
You just lost me. You're listening to Charlene, Charlene at Home. I call it the Charlene Gill Show. After we take a break, I want to get into this a little bit. We're talking about rentals today because, first of all, we have an attorney here. I asked the attorney, do you read your rental contracts? Stephanie said only about 5%. I believe that. When I was young, I didn't read anything either. When we get back from break, I want to talk about some rights that renters have. You say they have rights, right?
They do have a lot of rights, but we're probably going to get into what they don't have control over.
Okay, I want to save that for when we get back. But my first question is going to be about, like Charlene said, if you start at $2,300 and then 6 months from now you get a rate increase to $2,500, was that disclosed in the contract, or can they do that? Save that.
And we want to talk about single family residence rentals and
Why?
what those payments are.
Why?
Because we want our listeners to know that they should be purchasing. If they're renting, they need to be purchasing.
Yes.
Okay, I don't disagree. Where are they going to get a loan? Is
They're
it
going to call
Charlene
me.
Gill.
Charlene Gill?
I have my recruiting staff right here.
304-604, 304-604, and the 805. You are so busy now. You don't need any more loans.
But it's fun. We love to do this. We got to keep it going.
So you're going to put in
I don't wanna,
20
I don't
hours
wanna get
a
bored.
day. She is so busy.
Well, no, and she wants to talk about first-time home buyers. There's no better reward than helping out a first-time home buyer saving money and investing in
Here's
themselves.
one right here, Cody Como. He's ready. You're ready to go, aren't you? Are you ready to buy? Do you want a condo or a townhouse?
I'll have to check my budget first, I think, see what fits.
Oh, boy. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Charlene Gill, that's her name. She is, I'm not kidding you, probably the #1 mortgage lady in Southern California. You're listening to the Hometown Station, hometownstation.com, KHTS 98.1.
Why do people from all over Santa Clarita come to our spa in Canyon Country? Simple. They want the highest quality services at prices that everyone can afford. This is Rosemary from Beyond Harmony Med Spa. Read our reviews and know why we won the Ultimate Beauty Awards 2 years in a row by the readers of Elite magazine. Come and see how close we really are and experience the level of excellence that our clients have loved for the past 13 years. Go to beyondharmony.com or call 298-8008 today for a free consultation.
KHTS strives to give the Santa Clarita Valley all the information they need. And when our computers aren't working the way they should, we call Resurgence, your true source for IT. Resurgence provides outstanding customer service while also providing the highest technical ability. They strive to do what is best to improve and protect your business. For more information on Resurgence, call 349-4114 or go to resurgenceit.com.
With Facey Medical Group, good health is within your reach. Our doctors provide Santa Clarita's finest primary and specialist care at 4 convenient Santa Clarita locations. If you're looking for connected, convenient, personal care, there's no better place. We accept most health insurance, including plans offered through Covered California. Call 1-844-MY-FACEY for more information or to schedule an appointment.
Santa Clarita now has a quaint antique store in a country setting. Rooster Relics, complete with a vintage flea market. Be part of the excitement on Saturday and Sunday, March 17th and 18th, 10 till 4 p.m. Check out the cutest home decor, collectibles, antiques, patio furniture, upcycled and painted furniture, handcrafted jewelry, food trucks, and so much more. The fun begins on Saturday and Sunday, March 17th and 18th at Rooster Relics on Bouquet Canyon Road, just past Vasquez on your left side. Rooster Relics.
You're at home with Charlene. Easy name to remember. Charlene Gill, #1 in Southern California when it comes to mortgages. Also have my favorite attorney here, Stephanie Stelnick, right here in Santa Clarita and the fancy community of Encino,
Don't you like that
California.
bring-in music, that guitar?
I don't like your music, I'll be honest with you. I need some.
I love that
I
music.
need
It
some-
just makes me
You ever
feel
listen-
good every time I hear
Listen
it.
to my music tomorrow on my sports show, girl. That's real hip-hop.
Yeah, but this is like,
You need hip-hop.
You gotta have that
Stephanie
for
and I would
sports.
like hip-hop.
I don't know.
Stephanie's requesting
I actually was saying I liked her music at the interlude.
See?
Like it's just like you
No,
do
you're
feel
just-
at home.
See,
just
yeah,
kiss-
it's
you're
like
just
we're
kissing up to
just
her.
playing the guitar.
Oh
we're
no,
just talking about
I'm a
home.
big fan of the introduction from sports. Like, don't
Yeah.
I need to get? You're a hype guy. You got to get hype for
I'm
sports
like
nation.
the barker, right? I'm the guy at the circus barking, right? No? All right. Let's talk about rental properties. If you're out there and you're renting and you have a question, this is a great time to call. If you're a renter, you're out there, you're driving. I don't call and drive, and that's why we don't get a lot of callers because most people are driving and listening to our show. But here's the number if you're coming home: 298-5487, 298-5487, 298-5487, and the 661. If you're a renter, if you're a homeowner, call next week. You want to talk to renters. So back to what was it? I was going to ask you a question about the rights of a renter.
Yes.
Everybody has a contract.
Usually you have a contract. You always want to get a first year contract at least.
I think your question was, can they raise the rent,
Yes,
and how?
yes.
What's the time frame on raising a rent? I think
So the contract always
Right.
dictates it, but in the first year, usually you're protected against a rate increase unless in the contract it states that the landlord can raise rent, giving you this type of notice within this amount of days, and you can't do anything because it's in the contract written right there. They just have to give you a piece of paper. They can post it on your door and say, sorry, in 30 days you have to pay this, or you can vacate and try looking for a new place in 30 days.
And if they have a year rental contract, it's a 30-day notice if there's a rent increase when their year lease comes due.
Exactly, and they can
Right.
choose to renew, and they usually when a landlord increases the rent after the 30-day notice, they'll say you have 30-day notice. We're going to increase the rent. You can agree to sign this this contract. If not, the lease is over.
Right.
Wow, and there's the number one reason why you should be a homeowner, because if you get a 30-year fixed mortgage, they can't raise the rate. Am I correct on this?
Yeah,
Correct.
your rate's fixed for 30 years. Your payment is going to stay at that payment for 30 years.
And I like what Stephanie Stelnick said a few minutes ago. What a great way to explain a mortgage. That's your retirement plan. That's your 401k
Absolutely.
for 30 years.
I just had this conversation with a 22-year-old client that came in to talk to me the other day. And I said, you're probably the only 22-year-old client who's come in with the mindset of purchasing a property, because most 22-year-olds aren't there. You know, they're not there with business yet, and they're not there emotionally yet.
Right.
You know, they're just in this day and age, it's just a little bit, they're not really at that step. So I said, you should be really proud that you're even in here thinking about doing something like that.
Well, no, and parents, like you see, like all the time, like if you open up a savings account at 18 years old, the same savings account you would open up at 30, put it in the same amount, you've almost doubled the amount you've invested starting at age 18. So parents, when you're thinking about giving your kids money for graduating high school, imagine putting in an investment and telling your kid, like, here's an initial investment, but I need you to start putting even $100 a month, even $50 a month, your birthday money, what that can turn into for your children. So when they graduate college, there's a 3.5% down if you don't want to help them a little bit more.
Yeah.
Just a little bit more. You're listening to At Home with Charlene and our wonderful attorney guest, who's part of our cast. She'll be on in a couple more weeks, Stephanie Stelnick. There's a reason why our rents are high. Do you know what they are?
Well, I think because we don't have a lot of supply, for one. I
Good old
know
supply and demand.
Yeah, and I know it's the same supply issue that we have for purchases. We just don't have the supply, and there just isn't a ton of rental supply. And they're estimating the rental supply to be even less and more sought after in the next year or two to come. So, I mean, if anybody is thinking about purchasing too, a rental property would be a great idea. You know, the rents you can get great rents. You could, put a large down, those who have a lot of money already saved, or, you're a little bit older and you've had time to build that retirement account or whatever it may be, buy a rental property and, put a renter in there.
But that's the other reason why rents are still so high, is because you're giving other people the opportunity that have been in the real estate market, have seen what it can do. Even like everyone says, this is the height of the market. You can't buy rental properties. It's not true. There's still potential. Like, I mean, the first time I was on the show with Charlene, she was telling me, like Coach said, interest rates were low 3s to high 3s, and now we're already 1% higher, and that's not much. Like, don't get scared that it's that much. But if I come on the show in November and Charlene's telling me we're now at low 5s to high 5s, people are going to look at me like, oh my gosh. Because I think in 2007, the last interest rate I remember in 2007, because that's when I bought my first townhome, was 6.25%.
Yeah,
Which
when
is
I
still low.
bought my first property, I was at 6.25% too, and it was like, okay,
Right, you
it's
do it.
just it's just what it was. So I mean, it's not that people are going to not be purchasing; it's just they need to be educated on what the rents are and what it's going to cost you to purchase, because you're going to be able to get into a house for a little bit less, if not equal to what the rents are. It's just, don't be scared, because you are going to gain that financial investment faster owning real estate than you are with putting money in a 1% bearing interest account.
Right.
You're
And-
just not going to make the money anywhere else, unless you're a risky stock market guru and you can make some quick cash in the stock market, but very volatile, as to where real estate will come and go, and it'll go up and it'll come down, but you will always, you can get out when it's great.
Right. It's like kind of like buying a bond. But also the same token, like everyone's like, well, I have a renter. What if I have renters that want to rent with me? one of you needs to buy the house and the other one can rent from you. At least one of you is getting the benefit, or if you guys can do it together, you just have to work with the mortgage broker like Charlene. She'll help you to figure out what you guys can afford together, and you guys can both go on the property. You guys can both receive the benefit of the 6 to 8% she's talking about in regards to the investment you're going to get. So you don't have to be married. You don't have to be with your sibling. You can be with your friend, and there's contracts that can be created to protect both your interests, so you're still both getting the benefits.
You know, one other thing I wanted to touch on was the single family rent out here. And the average rent for a single family residence, and this was just looking at everything all together in Santa Clarita, for a 3 to 5 bedroom property, average $3,500.
When I heard that last year, I almost rented out my personal property to make that much money off of my own home. But then I was looking out to buy another home.
Right. But $3,500 for a single family residence. So when we go back and do the numbers on that, I did a 10% down conventional at a $550 purchase price, and I did a 3.5% FHA. 10% down conventional, you're going to have a total payment of $3,306. So you're $200 less than what you would be paying for rent. On an FHA 3.5% down, let's just say, you're looking at a payment of about $3,518. That's exactly where we're at for an average single family rental payment. So, and FHA, that's a 3.5% down.
All right, we're going to take a caller now, 298-5487. Caller, are you on the line?
Yes, I am.
All right, thank you for calling At Home with Charlene. We have the attorney here, and we are waiving the $1,000 call-in fee, so you're not going to get
Click.
you're not. Do you have a question for Charlene or Stephanie?
Well, I know it sounds kind of crazy, but yeah, I live in a nice neighborhood, and I really, we try to keep the lawn and everything looking nice and so forth, but I have a neighbor whose dog likes to come and poop and pee in my yard, and he likes to dig in it and things like that. And I know it sounds crazy, but legally, is there anything, I've asked them a couple times to really, when they let the dog out, if they could let him out in their backyard or something like that so he doesn't come over to my yard, but they just go, oh, well, we're really sorry, he just likes your place.
It doesn't sound crazy. I have the same problem. I installed cameras.
They mark their territory.
It happens. We have neighbors that walk their dogs by, and I could see them. My daughter says, Mom, I just looked out the window. So-and-so walked their dog by, and they pooped right on our yard. And I said, well, they pick it up? She goes, no. And I said, what? Really?
I know.
Caller,
Yeah.
What's your name, caller?
It's Judy.
Judy, thank you. I have the same problem. I want to hear what Stephanie has to say. I have so many times.
It's rude.
I've even put
can you
out
write a
bags
letter?
on my,
What can
on
you
my
do?
Tree. I've hooked them up to my tree and said, please use, and not just for my neighbor next door, but others, and there's signs up in our neighborhood. We even have bags posted in our neighborhood and everything else that says, please pick up after your pets and blah, 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 and it doesn't matter.
Judy, do you guys have an HOA?
Yes.
Have you written to the HOA as well?
No, I haven't thought about that, but but it's hard to tell who it is. It's like, okay, well, from my neighbor, yeah, I've caught them, but I'm, and then you worry about, okay, what's going to happen with the neighbor when you do tell on them, and stuff, but yeah, it's frustrating. And
no,
then,
I completely
the rest
understand,
of the
Judy.
neighborhood does the same thing, and even though there's signs up and everything else, people just, whatever.
Well, Judy, what I would do is first write a letter to the HOA, just a quick email. Not you're just saying, I don't know who the neighbor is. It's happening on a daily occurrence. Even though whatever you're posting on the tree could be sufficient, because the HOA will start putting in their newsletter. They usually send out a newsletter every month. They'll start putting we bought. You guys spend money on the HOA. You guys have these dog waste baths that you guys are paying for. You guys all need to work together because you're all trying to protect the values of your home that you purchased and invested in. And so the HOA is supposed to be the person. You're going to tell them, I don't know exactly who it is, and you're never going to know unless you're a coach that installs cameras.
I installed cameras.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, Ron, well, then if you've got cameras, you can, you can easily catch them. But, but still, it's like, really, guys?
I know.
I don't know.
It's a great call. It's interesting.
And
I have an HOA, and I didn't think about this.
Do you have the ring system?
No.
The rings, What's that?
It's a
Ring
little
sensor.
doorbell that you could put in front of your house, and it should be able to give you, it has a little camera on it. You can attach it to your cell phone and it'll give you a 360 view of your front yard even when you're not home. So you can see who is coming by your front yard and making their little offerings to you in your yard.
Oh my gosh! And it's called the Ring.
It's called the
system,
Ring.
R-I-N-G.
R-I-N-G.
Okay, the Ring.
They also have, I believe, a
Is
spot.
that like an app or something?
No. It's a
what?
doorbell that has a
doorbell
camera.
with a camera.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. And it
okay.
works. And I'm too lazy to install
I
it.
think it's like $200, and for like $250 you can secure a big
Yeah.
spotlight that has a camera attached to it too, and you can see the whole circumference of your front yard.
No, I've got more.
okay.
I installed more cameras
Hey,
than the
that's a great
Pentagon
idea.
in my home. To
Hey,
catch,
I mean,
to
if
catch
you
my
want to
neighbors.
say, hey, you know what? I see you coming on my yard. You know, how
And
about
you could,
how
yeah,
about
you
we
could
stop
talk to
doing
I'm
him.
going to
that?
hire Stephanie.
You could talk to him through
Yeah.
the Ring and push the button and say, like, I
Yes.
see you and your fluffy little dog with a white one, and I'm going to...
It does.
And I've already... You could, but
how
I
about
understand
you
the
writing
fear
a
with the
letter?
neighbor.
How about Stephanie? You writing a letter to Judy or me to my neighbor? I'll give you the address, and they get a harsh letter from you. I'll write the letter. Give me your stationery.
But
I'll
it's
write the
free
letter.
to write. As much as I would like the business, it's free to write to your HOA, and you pay them
Yeah.
to do this for
All
you
right.
guys.
Yeah.
All right, Judy. Thank you
Yeah.
for calling, my dear. Great
welcome.
call.
Thank
Great
you,
call.
Judy.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
very much.
Bye.
What
Bye.
a common problem. You have it.
Yeah.
I have it.
Yeah. But I mean,
My dogs
install
have
the
done
Ring.
it. I clean
because-
it up, though. I
But
clean
the
it up,
Ring gives you a little ding on your
Can
cell
you install
phone.
that for me? Can you?
And
can you,
it'll
that be
tell
part
you
of your
if somebody's
mortgage
out
service?
there.
You
Right.
should do that.
We're going to do Ring installation on the side.
You should. No. Well, I like your little bags that you gave Steph and I today. So everybody that does a mortgage with you, do they get like a gift little thank you bag?
Sure,
Just like
they
a
sure
little-
can.
Just like a little thank
Absolutely.
you bag.
Everyone will get a little
Phone's
something
ringing
different.
off the hook, and we're not charging you $298-5487.
We got the buzz going
You can
today.
talk to Stephanie Stelnick. She's our attorney here on our show at Home with Charlene. But that's a common problem. So one of my neighbors walks the dog at about 9:30 at night, right? Thinking
because they think they're sly at 9:30.
it's ridiculous.
That they're not going to have to pick anything
All right,
up.
next caller up. Hello, who are you? What's your name?
My name is AJ.
AJ, what's up?
I had a question for Charlene about first-time buyer.
Mm-hmm.
I have about $90,000, and I'm trying to get a mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
And my question is for my intentions is to do real estate investment and do flips.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just having a little more difficult time getting approved for a mortgage. So I was wondering if there's other ways, avenues, as far as maybe which ways is going through maybe another private lender, maybe some other different ways that I could maybe lock down a mortgage or something to get the ball rolling.
And do you know what some of the issues are as far as the part
yes.
that's okay? So maybe credit related or something along those lines.
Well, actually, it's not credit. I cleared a lot of stuff off my credit, and everything is gone except for like student loans. So my
Right.
credit's actually gone up. It's actually my income. So I had a job that I had for a long time and no longer working for that employer. So my income is not very much, and that was the main problem. But I do have a lot of cash on hand to use for the rehab and for down payment, and I was still unable to get approved for first-time buyer. Conventional, yes.
I mean, maybe it would be a hard money type of a loan situation
Yeah.
if you're looking to get something quick like that and put renovation into the property. Stephanie, you work with this closely, don't you? I mean,
Yes, AJ. I have a lot of flippers that I do work with, and they are required sometimes to use hard money loans. And they range from, like, I know that we're talking about for low interest rates, but they also have interest rates that for hard money loans with significantly less down, not a lot to approve, but they range in like 10 to 14% depending on the lender. But with Charlene, there are loans that I even have is at my personal to rental, like not for rehab projects, but rental properties. You would have to have 25% down. So if you're just in the beginning stages of flipping, you can find properties in LA County between $200,000 to $300,000 down But the problem is the 25% down that you're going to have to put, and then still have money for a contractor.
Exactly. Correct.
So that's the biggest ordeal. But I think I actually spoke to Charlene about it before the show, because we're going to hook up and see if we can connect our lenders with the cash lenders, hard money lenders, so that we could see how to best do that, so you can do both, put the money down and use it for the contractor.
I mean, another option would be if you maybe bought a property and used like a 5% down conventional, 3.5% down FHA, and occupied it for some time. Maybe even get somebody to go in and co-sign with you. Maybe a cousin or brother, sister, sibling, or something along those lines. And just get your feet wet, get in a property, and start building some equity that way. And, that could increase your down, because you're making anywhere from 6 to 8% a year just in equity in LA County.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, that's a good suggestion, too.
Okay. All right. That sounds great. I'll definitely look into those options. Thank you very much.
Have a great day. Thank you
AJ.
so much for
Calling
listening and calling.
Thank
All
you.
right,
Thank
the
you, guys.
show is at home with Charlene, talking about rental properties today. This is a kind of a hot subject, except for the lady that called on the poop, which I have the same problem too with my neighbors. It's interesting, Charlene. I got to learn about this myself. So you can have one down payment in this category and another down payment in another category.
Well,
You need to open up the Charlene Gill School.
Well, what I'm saying is you could do a 5% down conventional. On your let's just say, are you talking about like a townhome situation? You could do 5% down conventional, 3.5% down FHA, but you can have a non-occupying co-borrower come on if you feel that your income may not be sufficient.
It's
non-occupying. Occupying co-borrower. So a family member, a parent, somebody that goes in on the loan with you, you're the primary borrower, but you've got a non-occupying co-borrower that's going on the loan just to help you qualify.
Right, but the reason, what I think from AJ's phone call, what the issue he's having is he has this amount of money. He needs a portion of it for the rehabilitation. So if he does like the 5 or 10% conventional loan to have money left over for the rehab, how long does he have to hold that property for in order to be able to flip it? Because they usually take like 6 to 8 weeks for the rehabilitation of the property.
Well, your FHA loan is strictly an owner-occupied type of loan. You're not going to use FHA as a flipping product.
Nope.
You're going to use maybe a conventional loan as a flipping product. But usually between when a loan's done and it goes off to servicing, things like that, you have about a 6-month hold on that transaction. But it sounded like some of his income may have been a little bit lower because he had a significant job and he was no longer at that job. So it might be that we're a little bit low on the down payment, but we're also a little bit short on maybe the debt to income ratio that he needs to qualify. I think that's probably the scenario.
Here's an attorney question. Stephanie Snelnick, our wonderful cast member, part of our show. This comes from like 2 weeks ago with this. They're getting sued. What is it called? BNI. In San Francisco, where they rent out the home to 5 or 6 people.
Yes.
Yeah. Is that legal?
Well,
Is that something you have to check with the city?
People can't afford to live on their own there.
Well, San Francisco still has rent control too, and
okay.
They have rent control, which probably does have rules and regulations in regarding how many people can stay in the property.
Yeah.
But if you have a home without any regulations, you can. I mean, if everyone has a bed, each city will have different ordinances. Like I know in Palm Springs, to rent, you can only have 2 people in a room. So if you have a 3-bedroom home, you can only have 6 people, but you can have plus 2 more if they're under the age of 12.
I heard one of the big companies, I don't know exactly who it was, but they're getting condos and they're stacking beds and putting their employees in it. And it's small little spaces, but they're putting 5 to 6 people in there in like bunks or whatever it is. And it's crazy.
What city is that?
That's San Francisco.
They also Google, sometimes they park the truck beds on the parking spot and create a house in one of those things. Oh my God. It's cheaper to pay. You don't have to pay for that.
We don't have rent control in Santa Clarita.
We do not have rent control in Santa Clarita.
And I'm opposed to that, being a conservative. But I grew up in Thousand Oaks, Westlake Village. our rents were high too. They're still very high because it became a community that was safe to live in, like Santa Clarita. City was well run, like Santa Clarita. Our streets are clean. We actually have services that work. And people want to live here. So it's what you said earlier, supply and demand.
Right.
We have more demand
Then we do supply.
and the supply isn't coming anytime soon because it's very expensive, as Stephanie knows, to build in this community.
I was just doing my 45 hours of continuing education for my wonderful 4-year renewal. And in there, it just was saying that the rents are going to be so sought after. Rental property is going to be so sought after in the next several years that it's just because there's the demand for it and the supply short. So that's why you have the higher rent. But I mean, if you get in on a property, let's say you have a large down and you can, I don't know, pocket $500, $700, $800 just in cash on your rental properties. I mean, that's like another little side income.
Well, this was a really hot topic. Obviously, we got quite a few callers today. You're listening at home with Charlene Gill. Charlene Gill, 304-604, 304-604 in the 805. Like the coach, she has an 805 phone number. It's just she's had it for years, like I've had my 805 for years. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. Charlene always does an editorial, like the editorial section of the newspaper every Sunday. Last week, she almost made me cry. So
that's my job every week.
Here's my tissues.
See if we can make Coach cry.
Yeah,
every week.
Look at my tissues right here, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back.
Little Eye Leaders is the newest preschool in the Santa Clarita Valley. At Little Eye Leaders, our outstanding teachers lead with intellect, perspective, and heart. That means our programs provide a warm, nurturing atmosphere to meet the unique needs of each child. We believe that play is a powerful form of learning for young children. That's why our kids have every opportunity to learn through the magic and excitement of play. Parents, schedule a tour today by calling 303-0400 or online at littleeyeleaders.org.
Hi, this is Dr. Pilecki. Too often, people cringe when they hear the word chiropractor. Maybe they got seduced by someone with more charisma than skill, or they just don't want their spine cracked. After 7 years of postgraduate certifications, I never crack anybody's back. But my exclusive 5-therapy approach often gets more relief than drugs or surgery ever could. So Google Dr. Pilecki, find out why I earned all those 5-star reviews. Hope you get to write one soon.
Imagine your home reinvented with a distinctive Clopay garage door. With so many beautiful styles to choose from, Brooks Garage Doors and Painting rejuvenate your home's appearance by creating a dramatic entrance that makes a bold statement. Designed and made in the USA, try the Clopay Door Imagination System online and upload a picture of your home. Explore the possibilities at imagine.clopay.com. Let Brooks Garage Doors and Painting help you choose a quality, American-made Clopay garage door that complements your home. For a free in-home consultation, call 274-4297.
It's never been so easy to have a great night out. Whether it's a date night or girls' night out, experience Pinot's Palette in Valencia or Encino. Order your favorite drink from the bar and paint your very own masterpiece. No art experience needed. Local artists make it easy for you. So you can paint, sip, and listen to great music while creating a one-of-a-kind masterpiece. Fun, relaxing, and memorable. Pinot's Palette. To book your party, go to pinotspalette.com. That's pinotspalette.com.
If you're in danger of losing your home to foreclosure, you need an expert. Hi, I'm Rich Sherman with Alta Realty. I've helped hundreds of Santa Clarita residents save their homes completely for free. I've got just over 20 years experience and a loan modification success rate of over 80%. I can negotiate better terms with your bank and I can save your home from foreclosure. And again, we do this completely for free. So if you're in any danger, please call me today at 661-714-1400. That number again is 661-714-1400. I'm Rich Sherman with Alta Realty, and I'll be happy to help you save your home for free.
Indulge yourself in the world of wine at the 6th Annual Sierra Pelona Valley Wine Festival, Saturday, April 21st from noon till 4 p.m., benefiting the Zonta Club of SCV. Get your Chardonnay on with live music, gourmet food, handmade crafts, and the best local wines Santa Clarita has to offer at Reyes Winery. Dionysus dilettantes and wine connoisseurs alike will enjoy this festival. Sponsored by Reyes Winery, Pepsi, Anheuser-Busch, main stage sponsor SCV Advanced Audiology, and VIP sponsors California Bank and Trust and Mercedes-Benz of Valencia. Visit ReyesWinery.com to purchase tickets.
There's only one Santa Clarita plastic surgeon who is Yale trained and board certified, Dr. Justin Heller.
To be a board certified plastic surgeon like myself, what that truly entails is about 5 to 7 years of honed surgical training in reconstructive, all areas, as well as aesthetic, so which means your facelifts, your breast augmentations, your body contouring, true training, and board certification. In fact, that's the only board certified area that can be achieved in this realm.
Dr. Justin Heller, warm, understanding, always available for guidance because he's local. HellerPlasticSurgery.com.
My favorite restaurant in Santa Clarita? Salt Creek Grill, of course. Great food, neat atmosphere.
For a business lunch or romantic dinner, I'll always go to Salt Creek.
Hi, I'm Greg Amsler, owner of Salt Creek Grill. We have created Salt Creek to provide you with the most comfortable and inviting restaurant in Santa Clarita. Enjoy fresh mesquite grilled fish, aged steaks, and the best chops imaginable. There's entertainment every Friday and Saturday night, and we have the best Sunday brunch in town. Salt Creek is on Town Center Drive in Valencia.
We cut off the phone lines, but next week you can call in, and I'll give you the number next week. But here is Charlene's number. I'm going to go very slow. This is Charlene Gill's personal number, and when you talk to her, you'll know how smart she is. You ready? It's in the 805 area code, right?
Yes.
304-6004.
There you
Where
go.
Stephanie says 6,004. 6,004.
You just have to
304.
throw that in there.
304-6004 in the 805. And you can talk to her personally. And you just heard the callers. She's smart. Stephanie's smart, and they work together as a team, so don't hesitate to call her directly, and she'll help you out. So this is your time every week where you talk to thousands of people in
Yep.
Southern California. What do you got, girl?
You know, I want to wrap up from what our show covered, and that was the rents that people are paying, $2,300 to $2,500 for anywhere from a 1 to 3 bedroom condo, and on average $3,500 rent for a single family residence. Don't rent if you can afford to purchase, because you're going to have the same payment equivalent to your rents if you are able to purchase. Don't think you have to have the down payment. The down payment can be a gift. The down payment can be funds from your tax return refund. You can use some of your tax return money. You can use portion gift. There's so many creative ideas that can be done as far as down payment assistance programs as well. Don't limit yourself. Don't think that you are stuck renting. Don't think that you can't be in a position to be able to purchase. It is probably the biggest financial investment you're going to do, but the return on that investment is probably going to be grander than any other investment you can do, besides any type of risky stock market investment where you may or may not get that return, depending if you have the stomach for it or not. Real estate is always going to be there. It's always going to be around. It might fluctuate up or down just a little bit, but every market fluctuation, there is a gain. Whether we don't have enough supply and we have a little bit higher rate, maybe we have a significant amount of supply and a little bit lower interest rate, there's really not a time that you can go wrong when it comes to real estate. And when it comes to investing in that, if there's anything that you can invest in where you're going to have an 18 to 24% possible gain in a 3-year period, that's where it's going to be. It's just not going to be anywhere else. And take the opportunity to reach out, to call me, see how we can make it work for you, see what plan we can put into place. Maybe your plan isn't right now. Maybe your plan's 3, 6, 9 months down the road, but let's get that plan in place, because you don't know if you're not asking. You don't know if we're not reviewing. It's important. I think people really should grasp that from today's show. That's really what I wanted to get across.
Nice job. And that perfectly said. I thought your last comment, you know, if you're 3 or 6 months out, it goes so fast. Now's the time that you sit down with you or Stephanie. Right. And thank you, Stephanie. Yeah, thanks, Stephanie.
Spring's going to have lots of houses, guys. Call Charlene today.
See you in a couple of weeks, girl. See you next week, every Thursday at 2 o'clock at home with Charlene.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in.